Now, there's definitely a lot of reasons why you should believe that, hey, we are going to be getting a Zelda 40th Anniversary Direct. Even though the leak from a couple days ago seemed to be wrong, there still is a chance of getting a Zelda 40th Anniversary Direct. Now, Nate the Hate did say that it's not going to be the release date or the pre-order date. We all originally thought that the 4th was going to be the pre-order date, which meant that we are going to be getting a Zelda 40th Anniversary Special Direct, whatever you want to call it. But what if this was only a part to the story? It definitely would make sense to see a Zelda 40th Anniversary Direct sometime in the future. This could be in August, this could be in July. I mean, we technically only have 10 days left of July, but it still definitely could be a possibility. In this reality, in the situation that we're in, it all makes sense, because if you were really going to look at it, maybe we're not going to be getting a Zelda 40th Anniversary Direct. There's definitely a couple things that Nintendo could showcase, like first off, the main one being extra gameplay, or even gameplay as a whole, for the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Because right now, we don't know a single thing. We only know that the game actually looks good. Is this game going to be $60? Is it going to be $70? Is it going to be $80? We're going to have to know this information. And what better way to do it than to do a whole direct targeted towards Zelda's 40th anniversary? Because if you were going to merge it all into the September Direct, there would probably be like a lot that would be missing. If this truly is going to be a remake, they're going to probably have to showcase, okay, this is a new temple. Okay, this is a brand new way to play the game. This is something that was added, new side quest, new map, whatever. They can go in great detail within a 15-minute Zelda presentation. And also inside of the Zelda 40th Anniversary Special, they could easily, and I mean easily, implement something like the movie. The movie is something that we have to talk about because it seems like it's coming out in 2027. It seems like May of 2027, which definitely is cool. If they were going to do something like the Mario 40th anniversary, potentially this is something that's going to happen. Or they're just going to sort of speed through all the things. We're not going to be getting extra games. We're not going to be getting anything really for Zelda's 40th anniversary, because right now, Zelda's 40th anniversary is they didn't even mention it. That's how great we're getting it. We didn't even mention the 40th anniversary. But overall, this is definitely really interesting. Speaking on anniversaries, Metroid's 40th anniversary. Now, if you don't know, this is actually happening this year, which is pretty fantastic if you were really going to look at it. Are we going to be getting something? Is this going to actually make sense for this direct? Like, Zelda is going to get its own direct, and the Metroid 40th anniversary, it could take priority inside of the other Nintendo Direct or the September Direct. Because if you don't know, a couple weeks ago, we actually got a leak about they're remaking or they're remastering Super Metroid, and then they're making another Metroid. Potentially, are they going to reveal something about that? Or are we going to be getting a Metroid game or something for the GameCube application? Because right now, that GameCube application is a little bit lacking. It's not having all the games that we necessarily wanted. So potentially, this is what's going to be happening. Zelda gets its own direct in August. And then we get Metroid, which is sort of shared direct, and potentially the Wii, and also, I don't know, Animal Crossing or something, get all a shared direct inside the September one. Because if you look at it, Nintendo only has three franchises that you really have to celebrate these anniversaries. That would go to Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. This is called the Triforce of Nintendo. I'm sure you probably already heard about this. So to me, this definitely makes sense, because Zelda is that big thing. That big anniversary is definitely needed. Plus, there's probably other games that are in the works. The main priority game is going to be The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, but there still could be a couple games that are set to be releasing at some point. Of course, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. These are two games that have been leaked for a long time. The big majority one has been right now Twilight Princess more than Wind Waker HD, but it also seems like Twilight Princess is going to be getting a reborn version in the future. So, if they're making a reborn version, it doesn't really make sense to actually re-release these games right now if that's going to be the case. But if it's not the case, in that regard, it does make sense to decide, you know what, we're going to re-release these. But if that's not the case, there could also be a possibility of seeing a 2D Zelda game. The last time we've seen a 2D was back in 2024 or even 2019, depending on how you see it. With 2024, that was Echoes of Wisdom. You might not consider that to be the main 2D Legend of Zelda experience. Well, in that case, that would have to go to 2019 with Link's Awakening. But whatever the case may be, they might decide to release a 2D Zelda game, which was A Link Between Worlds. That has been popping up a lot recently, so that's obviously a possibility. Also, if you were going to look at, because honestly, the way that I see it is they're going to have different games for Switch 2 and Switch 1. Switch 2, you get obviously the big new shiny game, which is going to be the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake to get you to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 if you haven't already because of the digital and physical games. But if you don't want to and you already have a Nintendo Switch 1, they can make so many more sales by re-releasing older games or remaster or something for Nintendo Switch 1 users, since the sort of community and the sort of Switch 1 player base is so much bigger than Switch 2. So obviously that does make sense in a lot of different ways in my own opinion. So they'll release something here, release something there, makes sense, don't you think? Doesn't everything that we just mentioned just make sense? Because Metroid would probably get some sort of anniversary, because after all, there's been 2 games that's seemingly going to be coming out soon, and I believe the company is already hard at work on the next game, so they probably would be willing to reveal something in the future, but this could just be all a sort of coincidence in that way. Also, potentially, as we mentioned with the GameCube application, there hasn't been anything, so wouldn't you want to see something with Triforce Heroes or Four Swords or whatever the case may be? That game would be perfect for the sort of GameCube application. But overall, speaking on all of this Legend of Zelda things and new games and everything, it seems like a brand new game has just sort of leaked, or everyone has their hands on it already. Splatoon Raiders. If you're excited for Splatoon Raiders, I would highly suggest to get off the internet if you don't want to be spoiled, because this game is probably going to start leaking. I guess that is one of the major downsides to all physical, isn't it? So, it seems from this Reddit post, of course, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if it's fully true, but to me, this looks true. You can clearly see that there's plastic wrap all over the game, so obviously someone has their hands on it. But I don't know, it's really interesting. So if you don't want to get spoiled on it, I highly suggest get off the internet. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Consider hitting that like button, maybe subscribing if you're new. We do a bunch of different Nintendo content on this channel. Anyways, consider helping me reach my goal of 5,555 subscribers by my birthday. That would be absolutely insane. Anyways, see you in the next one.